Hey everybody, welcome to Potato Shop Podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Iron Dutch Murdoch.
And we're here today to just go over a few little things that we saw in the news and all that good stuff. So, I guess we'll start off with the death bells have tolled once again on Hollywood.
You know, it's with a heavy heart. We have to report this when Howard Hesseman has passed, and he was known to the world by Johnny Fever, of course, from WKRP in Cincinnati, and what was that other sitcom he was on there?
Head of the
Class. But I'm here to tell you, one of my favorite roles he played was Pete Lassard out of Police Academy 2, their first assignment. I found his delivery to be funny. Of course, I found Howard Hesseman funny. So, I hate to hear that he passed. But, anyways, R.I.P. Howard.
Yep, R.I.P. All right, I guess we'll get on to the next thing. And I guess this past Saturday, we got to see the Royal Rumble, WWE's Royal Rumble. It's setting up WrestleMania, the two-night extravaganza. What did you think about the show itself?
So I actually really enjoyed the Royal Rumble this year. Probably for me, I enjoyed Mickie James making an appearance as the Impact Divas Champion or Women's Champion. I enjoyed her making a ring entry. She cut an awesome promo leading into that, talking about she was going to go to WrestleMania and be champ versus champ, which that would have been really cool. But, of course, WWE in no way, shape, or form is ever going to allow another person's champion to come in there and make it to WrestleMania to that level. But it was really good. I thought the Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley match, I love the way that ended and how that played out. I still think Roman Reigns is probably one of the best heels out there right now. And then, of course, the Battle Royal or the Royal Rumble there at the end with Brock Lesnar coming in and winning it. They've set right. Well, and of course, let's not forget too with the women. Ronda Rousey made her return.
Right.
And I enjoyed the tension between her and Charlotte Flair. I thought both Royal Rumbles had good endings and set up good main events for WrestleMania.
Yeah, I thought they were good. I'm still not a big fan. I like Ronda Rousey in the UFC, and I understand why they brought her into the WWE because she got a lot of press. But her matches are horrible. I think their facials are, because she's constantly smiling, then she's mean mugging, then she'll smile, and then so she's not that good. You can see she's excited to be out there. She's not able to control her emotions on that end. She's being a kid, if you will. Shayna Baszler, I'll still stand by it. I think Shayna Baszler is exactly what they wanted Ronda Rousey to be. Someone that she comes out there, she looks impressive. She can beat up people. And, that's the thing is I just think Shayna Baszler has a better look and gimmick, Overall, I thought the show was good, and I can't complain. I mean, for it to be so long, what was it, 4 hours, 5 hours? It was 4 hours this year, I believe. So I guess all WWE events are going so long, so,
No, it was definitely a fun show. I really enjoyed Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Those guys always put on a very entertaining match. So,
right.
Overall, I was really pleased with the event as a whole.
Right. And let's talk about this thing. It was in January. It was, January 27th. the WWE actually cut a deal with Disney, so it's going to be able to be exclusive agreement to have the WWE Network shown in Indonesia. So that starts during the Royal Rumble, January 30th, and it's going to be on Disney Plus Hotstar subscriber via just standard subscription. WWE, for what it's worth, if they could get their booking back on track, which really wouldn't be that hard. They've got such a massive wealth and distribution, So when you talk about AEW or anyone like that trying to challenge them, it's extremely hard.
And that's a good point. When we watch the Royal Rumble here this weekend, the WWE product is just so clean and well refined. I mean, it's eye candy. You know what I'm saying? And that's years of constantly improving your product. You know what I'm saying? It's such a clean, vivid product. I mean, that's a well-oiled machine. I know that you can find people that are criticize WWE, and of course we've been critical of them in the past, but you can't deny what Vince McMahon and his team there have grown that company into.
No.
I mean, they are they are a well-oiled machine. I mean, they understand what they're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
it's great. I still say, even with them being for sale, I would love to see the Crockett's buy them and David Crockett walk out on that stage.
Right. But yeah, that's the big thing. And then let's see, the announcement that the Crockett Cup 2022 is going to be held March 19th and 20th.
Where?
In the Nashville Fairgrounds, I believe. I'm going to just double check real quick. Yes, it's going to be special events. Nashville, the Fairgrounds. The Briscoe brothers have been announced. British Invasion, which is Nick Aldis and Doug Williams. Strictly Business, Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis. And the NWA Tag Team Champions, Live Rebellion, is going to be so far listed. And there's going to be 16 teams. So it's going to be a pretty big show. And once again, that's my favorite product, the NWA.
And guys, speaking from experience, we attended the first Crockett Cup that this version of the NWA did. And I am here to tell you, you will not be disappointed if you go see the Crockett Cup. It is phenomenal. They do a very good job with it.
Right. And if you have the ability, just subscribe to them give the annual subscription on Fight TV for $49.99. Then that gets you all their pay-per-views, and the Tuesday night you'll get NWA Power on the air. So I mean, it's a great deal, but I do think it's a pretty big thing. I love to see that they've brought back the Crockett Cup.
I love it too. I do too, and the success. The proof's in the pudding with NWA, because you can just look at the number of people that have successfully moved to either Impact or AEW, and obviously NWA wants to grow their brand, but the point being is they're people that were fun to watch in NWA have gone on to be successful in other promotions as well too, so it's been fun.
You talk about Mickie James being the Impact champion in the Royal Rumble, but the first person to come out was Melina, and she is currently an NWA superstar. So
that's true. But now she did not get recognized as an NWA. She did not
get that, but still, at the same time, I do think it's worth mentioning that Tony Khan has called it the Forbidden Door. The Forbidden Door, WWE, I know it cracked it open on Saturday for the Royal Rumble. So, all right, let's see. Something else I want to talk about. Do you have something? Did you have something coming?
I was just going to talk about the sad news of Ric Flair and Wendy breaking up.
Oh, yes.
Of course, I had thought they were married, but apparently that was just a ceremony, kind of like a promise ring, if you will. Now, I've thought about that. I've thought, why would you go through that measure? Why wouldn't you just get married? But given Flair's track record in marriage, he probably protected his assets by not getting married. But it makes me sad for him to have had the battles with his health that he's had, to be at the point in his life. I mean, people love Ric Flair, or at least, maybe not everybody, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, but Flair is a pop culture icon now, and you kind of want to see the old fella go out happy. You know what I'm saying? And it just makes me sad for him that him and Wendy, because it ain't like back in the day, man, when he had them lining up to ride Space Mountain.
No, but at 72, I think Flair, who knows how it's going to wind up. But yeah, that's sad news. It's weird that they didn't get married.
Yeah, because on the surface, I mean, it looked like marriage.
Yes.
And I wonder apparently that was just a ceremony.
And I don't know what state they're in, because like here in Virginia, is 7 years, and it's at legal, like it's a marriage because you live together for so many years. So who knows? Because if they've been together long enough, they might bump into that. But
they were in Florida.
Oh, were they in Florida?
Yeah, Tampa area. Okay. He's down there by Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
so
all right. So let's see. Another thing that I want to talk about is Jake Paul.
Yes.
Who last year made $80-some million? I can't remember right off the top of my head. That went to my head. He made several $1 million.
Right.
And I'll look that up in a second. But him and the UFC have got into a pissing battle on how much fighters should be paid and things of that nature. And he did what I think it was a smart move. He went in and bought into Endeavor, which is the parent company of the UFC. So by him buying into stock, if he's bought enough stock, and because of it, it's not like me and you buying 20 shares of...
Right, he's got the means to actually buy a lion's share of stock.
And he'll be able to talk to the heads of Endeavor, and he can make changes there. And I think that's a really, really cool story. So, let's see, where is it here? Let's see. But yes, he bought into Endeavor. I want to see if it shows. He also did a disc track just here recently, and he don't expect Dana White to come out, nor do I expect Dana White at 50 years old to come out with a disc track. I think he needs to leave that with the Paul brothers. Let's see. Yeah, he's going to be urging for fighter pay, and which is a great thing. Let's see. If you look down in here, he said recently he urged UFC pay fighters more, and saying, "I can't stress enough how bad this is." After sharing a document claiming the total combined payout of UFC 270 fighters was just $1.8 million compared to a $50 million packet shared between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury for a single matchup. Their trilogy fight towards the end of 2021, which Fury claimed victory in. So there you go. I know we got the Francis Ngannou still threatening to, he's wanting to sue and he wants to box. I mean, I think you should be able to figure this out, but what's going to happen is these guys are going to get in, start drawing lines in the sand, and they're not going to budge for nothing. Because, well, I'm the man here. I'm the,
So, here's the problem. And bottom line, okay? Just because Francis Ngannou is your world heavyweight champion does not make that man the baddest man on the planet. Okay? I like Francis Ngannou. It's not anything towards him. But the reality is, Francis Ngannou is not the baddest man on the planet. Okay? Because Stipe's beat him once. He's beat Stipe once. So they still need a rubber match. On top of that, he fought Gann. It was a very forgettable fight. Let him start running through the talent and beating these guys, and then maybe we'll start having a conversation about him being the baddest man on the planet. But right now, he is not the baddest man on the planet. He's not the only man that has knockout power either. Now, I don't mean to talk disparagingly about him. The point I'm trying to make, though, is this. They call him the baddest man on the planet, and now he's starting to drink his own Kool-Aid, and he's thinking he's Conor McGregor. Well, I can promise you, if you pull Francis Ngannou numbers on pay-per-views and you match them to Conor McGregor numbers on pay-per-view, there is no comparison. So until the day you start putting asses in the seat and translating into big business for the UFC, you ain't in no position to make no demands.
Right.
Period.
And I know Rampage Jackson, who's had his, things with the UFC, he came out talking about people don't really know how much they get paid. So he was kind of taking a defense for the UFC.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to try to go to here. This Bleacher Report. I think this is the newest one. Let's see. Looking for a date here. This is an old story, but he came out and he said that he's made. Let's see. Here we go. Rampage Jackson said people misinformed by MMA fighter pay. People think we broke.
Well, and here's my other question. They act like boxing pays even their undercard guys massive millions of dollars. Listen, at the end of the day, no. Money can be made, but, an undercard fighter, a no-name boxer, is not going to be making millions of dollars. Okay?
Right.
And listen, at the end of the day, boxing's no different than UFC. Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder command X amount of dollars. Okay? But you've got guys right now that are not able to command their kind of pay-per-view numbers and draw the attention to the sport that those two guys do, or even, Anthony Joshua.
Right.
I know, who was that guy that just recently beat Anthony Joshua? Anyways, beat here and there. Dylan
Usyk.
Usyk.
Yes, I think.
Well, and then you got Dylan White, and these guys are all contenders and everything. And I think Dylan White holds a belt, and I think Usyk holds the other belts.
Right.
But anyways, the point being is, not every boxer is making Tyson Fury money or Deontay Wilder money.
Right.
Or Anthony Joshua
money.
Let's
be honest. I think boxing's going to hit that point where if they don't make stars, it's riding on the past. A lot of people see this and they're going to, we're going to pay big dollars. But eventually, companies are not going to pay big dollars. Look at the Zone. They were paying out, they were paying a lot of money. They got Canelo and they got it, and then they can't pay the bills. But what Rampage Jackson, he did his interview and said, "I'm not going to lie, I kind of get defensive when talk about pay because the stigma of MMA fighters throughout the years. My career is fighting. We fight for chump change, and that's why we're not respected in the sports world and stuff like that. People think we broke." He goes on to talk about how he's never made the $30 or $20 million. But some MMA fighters do okay. Example is GSP, who has done $4 million plus when he did his fight with Michael Bisping. So, honestly, I can't sit here and say, and you like you said, the undercard still gets paid peanuts in the end of the day, and I think UFC has increased the undercard pay to like 10 and 10. Not to say that's a lot, but still, it's still they have went up into pay.
I get it, but it's just like any other business. A frontline worker at Burger King is not going to make district manager money coming in.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I get it, man. But, to sit here and say, hey, everybody that signs with the UFC or signs with Bellator or One Fighting or whatever needs to be able to make, millions of dollars, that's not true. It's just, it's no different than a paper for performance. Say you took 8 no-name fighters and you decided, all right, we're going to do a pay-per-view with these 8 fighters. Nobody knows who they are. We're going to pay each of them $10 million a piece, win, lose, or draw. Plus, there's going to be bonuses we're going to associate to it. But we're going to go out here and sell it on pay-per-view. How do you think it's going to do? You're going to take a bath is how it's going to do. You know what I'm saying? You're going to lose money. You're going to hemorrhage money because ain't a single person going to buy that pay-per-view based off of no-names. They're just not going to do it. You've got to put in the work, make a name for yourself. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Francis Ngannou, for example, hasn't been given kind of a raw deal. I don't understand why the UFC doesn't push him. The guy's a fucking amazing specimen. I mean, he's a monster. You know what I'm saying? He's big. He's got scary knockout power. Yes, I want this guy out there showing, I want to be showcasing him and putting him out there because, you know what? I might be able to make some money if I put the right monsters in front of him.
Right.
That's the other thing. Ngannou's the guy, man. It's like, hey, there's Godzilla. Let's go find him a King Kong.
Right. And I think what's going to happen is when Jake Paul gets in there and he starts really looking at books, and I think it's a good thing what Jake Paul does. I think him and his brother are terrific. They know how to market themselves. But what's going to happen is when he really starts looking at the book, unless he's an idiot, he's going to start going, okay, we don't bring in, the money right yet to pay $50 million. Well, if you do, yeah, you can give the main event big dollars, but all the undercard guys are going to start eating a lot less,
again, it's easy to sit here Monday morning quarterback these guys, but to sit here and pretend that Chuck Liddell or Tito Ortiz or Rich Franklin or, Michael Bisping or any of these guys suffered at the hands of UFC for pay. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that these guys would all say, oh, no, I was paid fair. I'm sure they all could tell you that they'd like to have made more for their fights, okay? But I guarantee you they're all doing pretty good for themselves.
Right.
So.
Okay, and I guess the final thing we'll close up the show with is, and I know this is probably just a horse that's getting beaten to death by CNN and all these other news outlets, is the Joe Rogan Spotify, Neil Young. Neil Young, old aging rocker, he comes out, he says Joe Rogan's giving misinformation. He wants his music pulled or he wants Joe Rogan removed from Spotify. Spotify goes, okay, we'll remove your music. So then Apple Music picks him up. They start doing this thing. We're the home of Neil Young, which means absolutely jack because Neil Young was doing zilch on Spotify, but that's okay. His name's back in the news. All right, now he's getting, you're having other aging rockers join the fight. Joni Mitchell, some guitarists with Bruce Springsteen, and then you've got when Joe Rogan comes out and apologizes, that's still not good enough.
He did not apologize.
Well, no. I don't want to say apologize, but he did he was trying to.
He defended.
Yes, he defended his.
He took the defense of his stance. Here's the other thing about it, and he made very valid points here. Stuff that was getting people removed from Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all this other stuff has turned out to be fact. If back in the day you said, no, look, man, if you get the vaccine and you can still catch COVID, they were telling you that was misinformation. Well, guess what we found out? That's an absolute fact.
Right.
It's like the problem is there's too much garbage out here that we've got people that really don't know what they're doing leading. Listen, and I'm going to say this, and I'd say it to the damn fool's face. I think Fauci is a crook, period, in the story. Now, I'm not saying that we should just throw caution in the wind. I mean, I want good facts. I want good information. But, and some of these people holler, follow the science. Well, you're not listening to your own advice.
Right.
And anyways, without going through the whole COVID thing, but, talking about the spreading it even after you're vaccinated. The fact that they said that cloth masks don't work has turned out to be fact.
Right.
And I think it's ridiculous that you can't have a contrary opinion. Now, I understand that what people don't want, it's just like when Joe Rogan went out here, when he contracted COVID, he went on there and posted about the regimen of things he did that got him healthy, with the vitamin drip, the ivermectin, Well,
see, that's the problem. Is people got mad because he was saying what he did.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. It's like he's speaking. He's like, this is what I did, and I recovered. Dana White followed verbatim exactly what Joe Rogan did, and he recovered quickly from it.
Right. And then you have Aaron Rodgers. You've had numerous people.
So how is that misinformation if I'm telling you what my personal experience was, what I did? Now, let me tell you, right now, you got to be careful because in today's age, with all the scam artists and stuff like out here, I could sit here and say, I take pineapple juice and, rub it all over my face every morning and, now I don't have a single wrinkle. Well, that may not be true. So I get how there has to be. But, some of these fact checkers don't know their ass from a hole in the ground.
Right. But, I find it interesting. There was a meme that came out. And I know a lot of times memes are funny and stuff. But if you just... This is like Blackstone announces appointment of Jeffrey B. Kindler, former chairman and CEO of Pfizer, as senior advisor. This was August 4th of 2020. Neil Young sells 50% of his entire catalog rights to hypnosis, I believe it's called.
Uh-huh.
And it is and that was January 6th of 2021. That has ties to Blackstone. Blackstone and Hypnosis Song Management launched $1 billion partnership to invest in songs, recorded music IP, and royalties. And then that was on October 12th of 2021. And then, of course, on January 25th of 2022, Neil Young demands Spotify remove his music because Joe Rogan vaccine misinformation. Mm-hmm. So if you just follow that money trail, it goes back to a senior Pfizer.
Yeah.
And you really got to look at it because as much as I would like to go, oh, that was all a conspiracy, something stinks. And Neil Young is a multimillionaire who sold his catalog, and he's got the money,
right?
He don't,
right.
So
right.
He can do this stuff.
Right. So to finish on that thought, a friend of mine on Instagram posted that he learned everything he needed to know about Neil Young from Leonard Skinner.
Right.
And I think that says it all.
All right. So I guess we'll wrap it right there. And we will call it a day. So until next week, I'm Brian.
I'm Iron Dutch Murdoch.
Go get a pineapple and rub it on your face to reduce the wrinkles. Later.